rolling along, day after day, year after year. The Mississippi River never stops. And the same could be said for the brewers we're going to meet this time on Brewed. Hey, we're here at Front Street Brewery with brewmaster and owner and genius. Can I say it?
Sure.
Genius?
Go ahead.
You'll take it.
Good.
This is Steve Zeidema, everybody, my new best friend in the whole wide world. And we're here at Front Street to learn about what goes on inside. But let's talk about this outside. You've got really one of the best views ever with that Mississippi River right there, huh?
Absolutely. The best view, I think, in the Quad Cities right here, looking at LeClaire Park. Can't beat that.
Well, you can't beat that, but I'm a little nervous and I'm a little concerned because it's almost like you've got Stockholm Syndrome. You love that river despite all that it's done to you over the years.
Correct. We started up Front Street Brewery in '92. We had been opened up 6 months. We turned into '93, and we had the spring flood.
Right.
18.5 foot. It introduced us to the Quad Cities and sandbagging and how to do it. 2 months later, we had a summer flood, which was a granddaddy of a flood.
Right.
We almost beat the '65 flood. And that took the whole building out. We lost the basement. It filled up the main floor. We had about 1.5 foot of water on the main floor. Everything that was new that we had just put in there was totally underwater.
You just wiped out.
Yeah, wiped out.
Everything.
Yeah, so had to wait about 2 months to get into the property and start reworking it. But we were young enough then and invested enough in the property with everything we had. We had to rebuild it, so there was nobody else going to do it for us. So we did it and got it opened back up again, and here we are, 23 years later, still running a brewery. So
you ever think about calling the place Flood Street Brewing?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, we could do. We did name a beer after that. Now, Raging River, right after that. That's how we got the beer.
Which is one of the most delicious of all the Front Street
Very popular
offerings.
beer.
Yeah.
Very popular beer. Yeah.
Did you do that maybe to appease whatever river gods you've upset?
Somewhat. Yeah.
And how's that working for you?
Not too good. We had about another dozen floods. Of different sizes.
We got a great beer out of the
Yeah.
Steve, I got to tell you, just getting you on camera is kind of a big deal, although not as big a deal as it used to be. There was a time back in the 90s, early 2000s at your other location where you were like Snuffleupagus. Like the Yeti, like Bigfoot. No one ever saw you.
I spent my career brewing beer in a basement with a hatch that had to be removed every morning, very early, 4 o'clock, in order to get that hatch back in before we served lunch. So it was an early morning and down in the basement. And when I got done, it's fairly hot down there too, without having a lot of air to get some movement around. I didn't feel like sticking around or anything. So I get out of the basement, head up the stairs, and go home. And we would be, my wife and I would be out for dinner someplace or shopping or something, and people would walk up to her and say, "Oh, hi, Jenny." You know, introduce her as the owner of Front Street Brewery.
Sure.
Who's this guy with you?
Right.
Nobody knew me.
But now with this new location.
Yeah, I got up here, I got windows, I got sunshine, I got a little color in my face now, and coming back to life. And people walk in here and they still, at first they didn't know who I was.
Right.
Who are you? You know, I said, well, I actually have owned the place for quite a while.
So we were talking about the floods and all the plagues that you've dealt with over the years with Front Street Brewery. Yep. And you were mentioning that at least one of the good things that came out of it was the name for one of your best beers. That's the Raging River.
Yeah, Raging River. That's it's been with us forever, and it's one of our most popular beers.
Describe it for me. What am I in for here with this Raging River?
It's an IPA. I consider it a little bit lighter on the IPA scale. So therefore, we do another IPA, which we boost it way up and change the style of hops. The hops change every time we do it almost. We can have a little fun with it.
So something as simple as just changing one ingredient to something you know is already great.
Well, if you stick with something that's great, how are you ever going to know if it can't be greater?
Oh yeah, no, that's worth a couple of floods right there. You can get this Raging River at the original location.
Correct.
We can get it here at the Freight House.
Yep.
And those are the only two places we can get it?
That's where it used to be. Up until about a few months ago.
Okay.
We started distributing beer, and we distribute it through our distributor, Wolf Beverage, and they've got it in about probably 16 places in town right now, and we're trying to ease into it so we don't run out of it. And we bought and built a new fermenter over there, a big one, so we could handle that excessive demand.
So Raging River and the rest of the Front Street brews are so popular. You've got them at both locations. You're doing distribution now. You need a bigger space to make this delicious beer.
That's kind of how it happened.
That's how it happened.
It's my wife's fault, actually.
Okay.
She created too much business over there at the other place, the restaurant, and sold too much beer. So as time went on, that little 6-barrel system wasn't keeping up, and I was working too much, even more.
Right.
We went out and sought another spot to build another brewery and a bigger system. The industry was really picking up, and it was very difficult to purchase a system from a purveyor and get it very quickly. Sometimes it was 9 months away. So I decided that I should be able to design my own system and have someone in the Quad Cities, because the Quad Cities has got a great structure for working on things like this. John Deere, Alcoa, all this industry, they have the craftspeople to do this stuff. Why can't we build a brew system right here in the Quad Cities?
So rather than waiting 9 months
Yep.
for somebody in another part of the country to make it, you
Right.
just get a cocktail napkin out and just start drawing things? How does this work?
Pretty close to that.
Really?
It was just a sketch to started with, and I went through some people, and finally came upon Crawford Company in Rock Island, and they had the assets, they had the talent, and they built this system for me. This is the first system that they ever built, a brew house, and they had it like in about 6 weeks.
So this is the future right here. What's different about this bad boy? What are the James Bond tricks that you put in this thing?
I took a lot of the good things off systems I worked on over the years, and made sure I put that in my system, and took the bad things and didn't put it in there. That's about it. And really came up with this for its height, and just designed it to work very well for a brewer. It was built for a brewer.
How many years have you been making beer?
23.
So 23 years of experience making beer goes into making this bad boy.
That's
right here. It's a brave new world, and a bright future that you're designing and pouring over every delicious glass. Thanks so much for having us. Thanks for letting us take a peek around here.
Thank you.
And whatever this nameless beauty's doing, keep up the good work, old girl. Coming up on Brewed. Do you like science more than beer?
Hard to say.
What happens when you mix science and beer? You get the Blue Cat Brew Pub.